Alright, so it's been a little while since my last post, but I promise this one's going to be a good one. For those of you that own the first generation GearPod XLs, these lazy lids are probably something you're accustomed to. But with a little bit of upgrading, you can get this. Now I pulled this off for just about 20 bucks for this pod alone, and I put links in the description for the hardware that I used. As for the old hardware, I'm just going to leave it in place for now until I decide to get rid of it later. In the meantime, let's get started on the other side and I'll show you guys how I did this. Now with these first generation GearPods, typically you'd have to hold the lid open and then use your other hand to lock and latch the lid in place. In this shot, I have to use my head because I'm videotaping. And that's great and all, but it's a little counterintuitive to efficiency, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and perform this upgrade. Now this ball stud mount is going to be reused for the new hardware, so we're leaving that there. However, this plate is going to become obsolete in place of the new one that we place here. Use a flathead screwdriver to pry the clip and remove the strut. I'll probably hang on to this guy and repurpose it later. Now we have to measure the distance here. The new struts are about 12 inches, so that's what we're looking for. That puts us in this neighborhood. I bought a set of these 10mm ball stud mounting brackets to mimic the original hardware as close as possible. Now, this is more or less where it's going to be mounted. And to mark it, I'm going to be using some painter's tape here and slap it on the region of interest. These are the 12-inch gas struts that I'll be using for this project, which also happen to be of the 24-pound variety. And I'm going to clip it onto the hardware so that I can somewhat mount it and get a better idea of where I'm going to be sitting at more or less when I decide to mark the holes for this. It looks like a pretty good place right there. So I'll mark it right here, and this is where we're going to drill a couple of small holes. For the hardware that we're going to use, a 1/8 inch drill bit will work just fine. With the holes drilled out, we can now remove the tape. These are the screws and bolts we're going to be using to mount the ball stud bracket. And these 1-inch fender washers are going to be used to reinforce the rotomolded plastic walls. And now we can start by threading in the screws into the drilled holes that we made. With the screws partially seated, we could add the remaining hardware to the opposite side using a 9mm wrench. Now I unfortunately misplaced my thread locker in the middle of making this video, so I highly advise that if you have some, put it on. Last thing you want is having the stuff dancing its way off in the middle of a trip somewhere later down the road. Now once you've got the hardware cinched down and tightened, you've pretty much finished one side of this project. Now just give it a quick compression test, and if everything looks good, you can go ahead and start on the opposite side with the exact same steps. And once you're done, your end result should look something like this. Now that's a $20 upgrade that was worth every penny. Well, I hope you found this video useful. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you on the next one.